so elated. You're amazing every time you me around. Do you get touched to know? Tell me the feeling is love for love. Don't lie. Judging me, don't be in a rush for love. We getting closer, baby, don't give up. A little bit of wind comes with the breeze, let's make it easy. I take it to the top floor. Baby, if you want it, don't let me go. Hold on, just ride. What you wanna do, I'll drive you through midnight. Let it rain, baby, rain. Till we slide into the eye of a hurricane. Rain, baby, rain, rain, baby, rain. Oh, rain, baby, rain. Rain, baby, rain, rain, baby, rain. Oh, I'll take you to the top floor. Baby, if you want it, don't let me go. Hold on, just ride. What you wanna do, I'll drive you through midnight. Let it rain, baby, rain. Till we slide into the eye of a hurricane. Rain, baby, rain, rain, baby, rain. Rain, baby, rain, rain, baby, rain.
All you people in the club, feel it. Come on, baby, now.
Baby, I had to stop for a second on the balcony. Scoping you down, you're looking fly to me. All dressed up and buying your own drinks, and that ain't right. Not that you can't handle it on your own, but you're too damn fly to drink it all alone. Can I come bubble with you? To you, I'ma make a toast. Come on, don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Oh, baby, got me high dancing close with the corner perfume. Smelling all good, it's getting hot in the room. All pressed on you, and I know you feel it too. And that's alright. Pardon me, I'ma back up and be a gentleman. And if it's really real, then you can tell me when. And that's when she pulled me close and said, do it again. Come on, don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Oh, don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Oh, baby. Come on, baby, now. Come on, baby, now.
Shaking your stuff, you can do it. It's like,
Relax your mind, baby. You came out to enjoy yourself. It's on you. It's on you and nobody else. Bubble with me, baby. Don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin in 5 minutes.
Oh, baby. Don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Don't talk, baby, just move with me. Take a sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you. Oh, baby.
happens every time I get a chance. I feel the rhythm, but I just don't know the dance. I want to move with you, but something holds me back. I'm holding back, yeah. All I ever needed, I could never find. All I ever wanted was to get it right. Somebody tell me what is wrong with me. I wasn't sure, but I know now. I believe that it must be. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. Oh, why? I know exactly what is missing in my life. Something for sure and something pure, maybe a wife. But then I'm out the door before the morning light every night. So I pray. I'm so afraid I'm always gonna be this way. Relationships only to pass the time away. Fear of commitment is a habit hard to break. I must say, yeah. All I ever needed, I could never find. All I ever wanted was to get it right. Somebody tell me what is wrong with me. I wasn't sure, but I know now. I believe that it must be. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. All I ever wanted was some happiness. Take it to a level that's above the best. I wanna know how it's supposed to be. I wanna feel something real, but I believe that it must be. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. No, it don't love me. Someone teach my heart to fall in love again. That all I have to fear is fear itself. I know that I was born to love one woman, but why must I keep running through the rust? All I ever needed, I could never find. All I ever wanted was to get it right. Somebody tell me what is wrong with me. I wasn't sure, but I know now. I believe that it must be. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. Love don't love me. I know it don't love me. All I ever wanted was some happiness. Take it to a level that's above the little higher place. I wanna know how it's supposed to be.
Good morning and welcome back to day 2 of the ITSMF S1-25 Symposium. Get ready for another day of bold ideas, powerful conversations, and meaningful moments. Let's dive in. The future starts now.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight.
Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth.
We just wanted to get a stand up. We don't want to be too political this morning. How's everybody doing? Did you guys enjoy last night? Cool. For those of you who have experienced it for the first time, I know it's like no other award show you've been to. So we're here to kick off this morning, but I just wanted to say one thing. When we talk about bringing your whole self, I don't think we always understand what that means. I was in the coffee line this morning and I met someone who graduated from the Emerge Academy. And I asked her, what's next for her? She said, retirement. So I said, what are you gonna do in retirement? She's like, I'm gonna build my travel business. And then we started talking about the travel business and I gave her some tips on how to market and advertise that. That's bringing your whole self. We don't just help you with 9 to 5. We help you for your whole self. So you will get nuggets for every facet, every phase of your life in this organization. So I want you to take that away with you, that this is not just about what you do between 9 and 5. This is what you do 24/7. That's what this organization is about. But I just wanted to kind of get you up and stand up and ready. Now, I'm not going to ask who got in late or who got in early. I did see some people in the lobby, but I was watching it from my video camera in my room. All right, guys, have a great morning. Enjoy the rest of the symposium. Thank you.
Please welcome Vice President and Member Services and External Affairs, Elaine Norman.
All right, a slightly different look from last night, but we're here. This morning, I am just full. I'm full from seeing my family last night, enjoying themselves, bringing, as Dane said, your full self, us celebrating one another, and still doing the work that we need to do. So this morning, we've got a panel session, a very, very timely topic. The name of the session is Breaking Barriers, the Evolution of Leadership in Technology. So what is this all about? Well, we know the path to leadership is not an easy one. Much responsibility. And as things have evolved and demographics shift from a career perspective, now more than ever, we're seeing multi-generations in the workforce. So what does that do? How do we contend with that? How do we embrace that? How do we evolve that even further? Well, our panel is going to discuss that for us. Moderating the panel is DK Rogers. Everybody knows DK. For us, she serves as our vice chair for the associate members membership. And I'm going to leave it there, DK, because I want you to introduce yourself further and introduce the panel. So welcome to the stage, DK Rogers, and she's going to introduce the rest of the panel. Thank you, family.
Good morning, family. That didn't sound very good. Good morning, family. Well, I am DK Rogers, and I serve again as the ITSMF board chair for the associate members, and this is my second year on the board. I have a 20-plus year career in IT, recently serving as Director of Enterprise Application Systems, supporting finance and accounting. Today, I'll have with me Shannon Thomas and Portia Senegal, and they'll come to the stage and introduce themselves. We'll start introductions with Portia.
Hello, my name is Portia Brown Senegal. I work for HP, where I am the Director of Personal Systems, Quality Strategy, Engineering, and AI Solutions.
Welcome.
Thank you. I've been with HP for, I guess, 29 years. So, yeah.
Next, we have Shannon Thomas.
Good morning. Shannon Thomas. I work with Accenture, a consulting firm that many of you may have heard of or worked with. I'm a managing director there in our utilities client group, which is part of resources. I've spent 20 years in at Accenture in consulting, and those whole 20 years have been within oil and gas, across upstream, downstream, trading and risk management. And currently I'm the client account lead for several of our utilities accounts here in town.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Well, we'll dive right in. This question I'll pose to you, Shannon. What leadership traits do you believe it will take for you to lead in the next wave of technological changes?
That's a good question. It takes a lot. I do believe that it was good enough to really be deep within your kind of domain and area within IT, where it feels today you need to really have, as the change folks would say, the T-shaped skills. So you need to be able to go broad and go deep. So you may have the deep skills in one area, but you really need to know how that connects all the way across. You also need to be a change champion. I mean, I don't want to go political, but change is in the air. And change is happening all the time. And trying to understand how that affects both the business and then the underlying technologies as they shift over time is going to be critical. I do think that empathy is very important, and we may talk about it later, but we used to celebrate those IT leaders that got the results by any means possible. I'm thinking of like the Steve Jobs of the world. I mean, we celebrate and venerate him, but if you really think about the folks that worked with him and the expectations that he had of the people around him, it was not very, I would say, empathetic. And so there's been more of an expectation of that empathy that you bring, especially post-COVID. But we're also seeing I feel like the pendulum is starting to swing back a little bit as well, where results are key. So being a results-driven leader, I think, is going to be important as you continue to go. And the last thing I'll say is empathy is more on the emotional side, or the EQ. I would also say they need to develop more of TQ. And I know we've talked a lot about AI here, yes, and other technologies, but that technology quotient, technology is changing over and over and over again, and at such a rapid pace. It's not enough to just even know about AI or Gen AI. What's next on the cusp? Mm-hmm. Are you conversational about that? Can you start to speak to your business about that? Can you speak to others in IT about it? And how are you really educating yourself? I would say 20 years ago, we used to do a lot of, training, and the companies used to teach us, and our leaders used to teach us and others about what we needed to know. And most of those training budgets now are gone, right? They've been hollowed out. And so you really have to get out there and learn on your own and figure out what kind of learner you are. If you're a structured learner, if you're an unstructured learner, and get those resources to keep you up to speed for that. So that technology quotient, I think, would be key in this next wave of leadership.
Yeah. You mentioned having a broad set of technical knowledge and also deep. I'd like to add that you also probably need to be able to blend very well with the business. There's no longer an IT department and a business, and then you come together. It's a blending of the two that's occurring in this particular marketplace, and also demonstrating value. I know we talk a lot about AI. However, you got to bring value with just the discussion of AI is not enough. You have to show the value of the new technology and tools.
And I would like to add to what you guys have said, because what you're saying is spot on, but also you have to have you got to do strategic thinking. Where are we trying to get to? What is the end? There's actually no end, but you have to have a strategy to get there. And the other, as we're building these teams for change, they have to be inclusive teams, like with IT, the business, finance, whoever, so that we can understand what we're all doing so that we can build the best solutions possible.
Yes, yes. Next question, I'll pose this one to you, Portia. If you were building out a leadership development roadmap, what would be on that roadmap?
First of all, understanding where the corporation is trying to go, setting clear goals and metrics along the way, really fostering a growth mindset and creativity, innovation, because if people feel that if they're being told to do something, you're not going to get the best out of them. You need to let them know that it's okay to be innovative, to be creative, and it's okay if you make a mistake as long as you learn from it. I think also feedback. And sometimes it's hard for people to take feedback, and we have to understand feedback is a gift. It's only there to make you better at what you do. Effective communication. We gotta be good at effective communication. And it has to be, networking, always networking, no operating in a vacuum. And it's not just within your business group, it's external to your business group, because I learn a lot of things from businesses that I'm not normally involved in. And so now running a project, I'm trying to bring everybody together so that we can understand what each other are doing so that we can build the best solutions.
You mentioned networking. What role has networking, mentoring, and sponsorship played in your career?
Well, back in the day when I was like 2 or 3 years old and I was working, you apply for a position and you interview and that doesn't happen anymore. Networking has played a very important role, mentorship, because it helps you to get to know other people, not just in your area, but in other areas. You have to have multiple mentors to learn different things, because you never know where your next job will be. I'm an engineer. I manage an IT team. So, just, coming up with ideas. It really did help me. The mentoring did. The biggest one is sponsorship. Sponsorship is big, because those are those people that are in the room that will speak for you when you're not there. Oh, this person, what about this person for this role? And that has been very, very instrumental in me moving up. And as I am moving, I am bringing others with me so that they get the benefit of that as well. Now, the one that I think is very, very crucial is coaching. Once you get into that position, it's very important to understand the politics of the role that you're in. And so by having a coach that can offer personal guidance, let you know some of the landmines, continuing to grow your skill sets, both technical and soft skills. And it's also important for, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Just flip here. It's also important to understand you, the emotional intelligence. That is going to be the biggest thing, is understanding you, be aware of yourself. And it really helps. And that, again, I'm going to go back to feedback. Sometimes people don't like feedback, but you may think of yourself in a certain way, but other people see you in a different way. And that feedback it may be tough at the time, yeah, but it is valuable. And if you have someone that you trust and you're talking to and they don't give you feedback, that's probably not a good coach for you.
Yep.
And in my journey, I'll add to that. As I've been moving up, one thing that I had to do was to write my story, like
life story.
Just a blank sheet of paper. Who are you? What's your value to the company? Why should you be moving to this next level, or whatever it is that you're trying to move to? And it was a very illuminating experience. It was a very exposing, vulnerable moment, when you don't make it to half of the sheet and you're like, well, I don't really know what value I bring. But leaving it there and taking that around to different sponsors. I had what I would call my board of directors, people who saw leadership potential in me in the past and in current roles. And, I would get on a call with them once a month and take that blank sheet that sheet of paper. Started off at half a page. We ended up at 2 pages back and front. And they helped me fill out my story because there were things they saw in me that I didn't understand, but also they're in other rooms and they know how the conversation is happening, and they can take what may have been, something you thought was minor, and they can expand upon it, or they know how to talk about it in a way that gets attention and gets you noticed in the way you need in that next room. So that's been very critical and crucial, and I wish that was something I learned earlier in my career. So yes, I do think getting feedback, getting coaching. You mentioned mentors. And I used to have mentors that I would go for everything, with. And I'm learning now, when we had this conversation yesterday, I was having this conversation with someone else in a group, but you need several mentors. And some of it may be personal, some of it may be professional, and even in professional, I'm working different deals and sales, and I'm like, well, this person really knows how to do, these outsourcing deals very well and knows how to shape them. And this person really knows how to run delivery very well on projects. And I have a question about that. So I'm developing a group of people, and all of these people they're not my best friends. I don't always like them. That's not people I would always hang out with, but I do recognize where their strengths lie and where we can help each other and where they can help me. And that to me is important in a mentor, so that you know exactly why to go to that person and how to go to that person and how to approach them. You still have to be smart in how you approach it, because sometimes things you don't know can be a bit exposing. But just having that kind of expansive network of mentors has been invaluable to me.
Well, I'll share a little bit about me. I got one promotion from an unlikely sponsor. I couldn't seem to make any headway in my current role, so I decided I'd apply for another role at one of our other divisions. And I made it to the final round of interviews, and it was between myself and another guy. And of course, he had more experience with their department, but I was just so frustrated, and I was proud to have made it to this final round of interviews. And so I did not get the job, but I interviewed with all of these executives, and they all found me to be such a great candidate. They actually called my boss and said, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? She's just awesome. Why are you letting her out of your department?" And he literally gave me a promotion just because someone else said I was good. And it was kind of hurtful because I had worked for him forever, right? And he didn't see my value, but all these other people saw my value. And when they told him I was valuable, he then saw my value. Wow. So that was a way that I got one of my first major promotions.
Yes. So. I would also say invest in a coach, a professional coach if you don't have one. I know there's people who will coach you, in your career. But if you can spend the money as well and get that outside perspective. You were talking about the EQ, emotions, and understanding where your strengths are. I would say invest in that. It's worth it. Even if you don't like it, people say it feels like therapy. Some people love therapy, and some people, can leave it. I think it helps to hear back what you're saying and get an outside perspective on what you're doing. Even if they don't have all the context and know all the players, it's really been helpful for me. I have a professional coach that I've been using for the past 6 months, and I would say I've probably 10x'd on myself in those 6 months in the way I approach my job. The things that I worry about, I used to worry about, I don't. The things, I fail every day with something, and that used to trip me up, but now I just, just breathe, right? Yes, everybody's failing at something, and then everybody's overwhelmed, right? So I thought I was special in the amount of overwhelm I was feeling, and you start talking to others and you realize, well, you know what, everybody's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any better.
true.
It's not slowing down, so just get used to it. It's just gonna be that little buddy that rides along with you, including that failure, that thing that was on your list that you didn't get done today. You know what? I did the best I could.
Okay. To piggyback on that question, how can organizations institutionalize the knowledge of or help their future leaders understand the importance of mentoring and sponsorship and coaching? And maybe you have some examples of how your organization does it.
This is actually quite interesting, is that I am from HP before we were Compact. In Compact, as you moved up the ladder, you were expected to mentor someone else. And my first mentor was an executive VP. And I learned so much from that person. And so if you were a director or above and you did not have a mentee, then, you were looked down upon. So it was just a natural thing. Then we went through this cultural shift, when HP purchased Compact. And so we had to bring that back. We had a way of doing it. HP had a way of doing it. But it's very important to have those mentors, because especially when you're bringing two companies together, you have to understand. I knew from Compact, but I had to find me mentors with digital equipment company, because they purchased them as well, and HP. And I learned a lot about that, and it helped me to navigate. And also, my first promotion actually came from HP. So that was very interesting that because we're still going through the cultural piece and all, but you never can tell where that next opportunity will be and how people see you.
Okay.
So you kind of said what I was thinking. Well, what you reward is what people will do. And so I think there needs to be more incentives to mentor others. But I've also been on the other side of it and been a part of mentorship programs that were forced upon people and forced upon leaders, and the way the matching occurred, and it just wasn't quite the right fit.
Okay.
And you could just tell people were checking the box, right? So I do believe, and we're in this kind of odd era right now, I do believe affinity groups help with that.
Yes.
As far as whatever your affinity is, male, female, cultural, I think those groups are important. And I think it's important to find a group for everybody,
Yes.
so that everyone feels a part. Like, we even have a men's ERG at my firm. At one point, people were like, well, why do you need the men's ERG? And I'm like, there are things that men need to talk about as well, that, that as a group are important for their careers, as, dads, mentor, all those kinds of things. And you want to make sure everybody's included and everybody's finding that. So it's a balance, I believe, in institutionalizing these programs, because I'll give another example. The way we're organized at Accenture, you have what you're called a career counselor or people lead, and that, from an HR perspective, is your boss, and that's the person who speaks for you during your performance review. But that person can also be a mentor.
Yes.
You get to choose who that person is. And so maybe there's other organizational designs that would allow a bit of matrixing, so that your direct line-to-line boss that you're working with every day is not that person who's actually representing you in HR. And many organizations have that matrix, but I do believe it should be there, and sometimes a healthy distance from the person you're working with day to day. And having them relay that to someone else who's also hearing other folks' stories can kind of help balance and counterbalance that. And if you can pick someone who can also mentor you in your career, now you have your supervisor, direct, and you have someone else at that same level who you're connected with that can now start to shape your career.
Oh, that's awesome. You mentioned affinity groups. So at Cox, we created a women's IT organization. And so one of the things I did was lead the mentorship committee within that group. And we created a mentoring program for our new hires because we were finding that new hires would come on board. And although the company does a good job of onboarding them to stuff like benefits and those sorts of things, there are things that were just for IT staff that, you know, no one had taken up the banner to actually onboard them to those things. And so we created a mentorship program, and we would match our new hires that were females with directors and managers, depending upon what level they came in at. So, and it proved to be successful.
Good.
All right, next question. We'll shift a little bit to generational shifts and future leadership needs. With generational shifts underway in the workplace, we have a lot of baby boomers and Gen Xers who are leaving the workforce. What are the key leadership competencies that we must cultivate for the next generation?
You want to go?
I'll start with one.
Okay.
I believe, communication is key. And I think we use that term communication a lot. It's overused at times, but really just sharing information with others. So if people are exiting, how do you codify the knowledge of that generation? Are there designs that you can draw or write? Are there, forums that you can, create to walk people through the existing systems and walk them through the design decisions? And I've done this as a consultant, and I found that people who are, 2 to 3 years out from retirement love to talk and tell you the history of how did this system come to be, and they'll start from the beginning and they'll take you to today, and then they'll take you from today and start working their way backwards so you can start to understand not, functionally how does this function work in the system and blah, 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 blah. It's more than just the technical pieces. It's the people, the decisions, the environment we were in for which those decisions were made so that you know what, things are shifting. And so we made this decision for that reason. Should we change or shift, not just because there's new technology, but because that underlying environment has now changed? And I find this a lot with companies who, and we'll probably see a lot more of this, mergers and acquisitions. Yeah. And you acquire a company, and that company has acquired other companies over time, and those companies had acquired other companies over time, and you end up with this, spaghetti bowl of stuff from an IT perspective that you're managing, and you don't even really know why you're managing it, and people are just keeping it because it works. You know what, every time I press this button, the lights come on. Is that the smartest way to turn on the lights here? We don't know that, the wires went all the way to China and back and forth each time to make it come on, and how much did that cost? So when you really understand the function of this button, you realize, there's a faster way and there's an easier way, and actually this third company you acquired actually found a better way to do it. Let's move to that, and let's do that shifting. And I know I'm getting a little technical in it, but I do think there's a communication or forums. We need to figure out how to celebrate, our forebears and forefathers and mothers in IT, and find forums for them to really share that information, not just, to make them feel better, but actually there's knowledge to be gained, and we need to formalize that in some way.
Yeah, I really agree with you there. I know at HP, because of all the different acquisitions, we have like 2 defined groups. We have our seasoned people, and then we have our new coming in. And see, I didn't say the wrong word, did I? So what I've noticed is that the seasoned people are very anxious to work with the new ones coming in, and as they're teaching them, you know, the history of why we do this. They're also interested in understanding how they're thinking about it and how it's changed. And so I think that's wonderful, and we're doing more and more of that. And I had a gentleman who wasn't even in my group that he came to me and he's like, so I want somebody to train because, you know, I think I'm going to retire soon. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not in your group, but okay, we'll find you somebody. I mean, they absolutely love it, and that is also a person that will speak on your behalf, that will be that sponsor for you as well and help guide you. So I was very impressed with that. No one ever pushes away. Everybody wants to train because they know that they're going to move on and they want the company to continue to prosper.
Well, I have a differing experience. So we have a lot of seasoned people who are kind of fearful of losing their position and their roles. And so we started in my group an onboarding process where I at least started writing down all the business processes we support, all the technologies underneath those business processes. And when we got to business process and we started pushing our product people to document those processes, they was like, well, you should know them. You know, no, we're not gonna write them down. And so it is kind of hard when you're dealing with an aging group that is trying to hold on for dear life, but you know, you would want your company to survive if you're not there. And so we had to kind of work through some of that change management and resistance around teaching the next generation. All right.
Another competency I would say is you got to be able to be a connector. You know, I talked about those T-shaped skills again. You really need to understand, you talked about it, the blend of business and IT. I think it's blending more and more where you really need to almost be a business person and understand what's on the mind of the CEO and how does that affect my day-to-day. Almost, you know, what I challenge, and somebody challenged me and I challenge others now is whenever we have a quarterly report, our earnings, you know, I sit down with my projects now and we go through the numbers and I tell them this number right here, how does that translate down to this project? And so we go from that down to the project. This is what we did this quarter. This is how we, you know, contributed to this. And next quarter, this is what you heard the CEO say, this is what we need to do. How do we, day to day, okay, we're increasing profitability. What can we do on this program or this project to increase profitability? And I let them answer the question, right? Maybe I'll come with the bad news sometimes that says, you know, we won't travel as much as we traveled, you know, last quarter, but they come up with ideas and they're starting to see now and connect it to say it's not just, you know, iron and sand that we're moving around. Like these are dollars, cents, it has value and it has effect all the way to the bottom line. And so maybe every IT group does not have that ability to make that connection, but I would urge leaders to figure out as soon as you can how to make that connection back to what you do every day, because we're living now quarter to quarter. We look at, you know, if you work for a public company, maybe y'all, you know, some of y'all work for private companies, it's nice and cushy and
Oh, what is that?
But for those of us in you know, corporate America, for publicly traded companies, and you see what's been happening, you know, in the macro environment, things are shifting. And what was your priority last quarter might need to shift and change. And that's depending on what's going on. Like, okay, we're talking about profitability now. We're talking about revenue. Now we're talking about growth. How do I, day to day, start to affect the highest, you know, priority of the CEO and the highest priority of the company? And I think that's a competency as an IT leader we need to have, and to be able to first engender that in ourselves, and then start to have our teams all the way down to the lowest level understand how it all connects. You'll have better connected folks. I think the company will appreciate it a lot more. And when you're working with those business folks, they kind of understand that my priorities are also your priorities and we're working together.
Yeah, that's strategic thinking. that's getting on that way to master that.
You mentioned leadership evolution. We've had some key inflection points that have impacted the tech sector. We had the post-internet era, which was 1990 to about 2006. And during that era, we had Google founded, Facebook, AWS was created. Then we had the pandemic and the post-pandemic era where business models shifted quickly, right? We had to expedite our digital transformation. Some companies went from in-person to everything now digital and virtual. We're now presently in the AI era. What are some of the key leadership characteristics that would make one successful in this new era that we find ourselves in?
I'll let you go.
In this new AI era, I appreciate you going through the history of that. I remember we used to put up this slide, and it was 10 years ago, and it had Facebook, Netflix, it had all these, the top tech companies in the world. And basically the point of it was 10 years ago, none of these existed. But now these companies are maturing, things are changing. So I like the way you kind of laid out that history. In the AI world, things are changing very quickly. I think and I went back to that technology quotient, I think everybody in here needs to be training their own AI. And if you don't know how to do that, find someone young or someone who, I say young, find someone who knows how to do it. Someone knowledgeable who, they may be seasoned, they may be, they may be raw, they may be unseasoned. Find anybody. If you don't know, figure it out. There's YouTube videos out there. But it's really important for you to be experimental, because even Gen AI, when they were talking about it 3 years ago, it was like a bunch of buzzwords, and then OpenAI came out and people started experimenting. It's changing over time. Even the conversation a year ago is different than the conversation today. And as IT leaders and business leaders, I'm finding, and we were talking about this earlier, the business in many ways is ahead of IT in some of these cases because the information is available to everybody. And so I told this story. I was in a conversation with a vendor who does CRM software with AI features and a client. And the client, heard their whole spiel and all the features and what this could do for you. And the client asked, how did you prepare for this meeting using your software in this environment? And it was silence. They hadn't used it. And so we're entering this era where, there's a lot of buzzwords and folks are using language and they're getting out there, but if you can't walk the walk that backs up the talk, it's gonna become evident really quickly. And so I'm not asking you to go out and train your own entity just because it's cool to do, but you're gonna learn some things in that, and you're gonna become conversational about it in a way that will differentiate you from those who are just talking to talk. And so as a leader, you need to be experiential. I'm starting to use AI now to prepare for my client meetings. And now I'm starting to find that I can create different entities to do different things. And now another entity to check those entities or ask those entities questions for me, right? It's clicking left on like the work we used to do to prep, like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. This can summarize this, or this can research this for me and come back with this information fairly quickly, and then it could talk to something else about, okay, let's crawl LinkedIn and understand connections and who you've been talking to in my company and who you've been talking to in my network, and that can come back in a few seconds. I don't know. Y'all have heard about this, those letters A and I, so I'm not gonna bore you with it, but I think it's important to be experimental, be willing to fail, and to figure out how to stay ahead of the curve, because the business is catching up. The folks I find that are in the business using these technologies will pull me to the side and say, I can't go through this with my IT team. They don't understand this. They're still working on all that old stuff, right? They're still trying to solve the tickets from my enterprise system, and they're in ticket land, and, you know, or the people who are actually doing the work, you know, are overseas somewhere. And so how do we stay relevant? How do we stay valuable? And how do we stay ahead of our business? Because this information is out there for everybody. And those business leaders are trying to figure out, how do I accelerate growth? How do I accelerate profitability? And I want to use everything out there possible, including AI. And we've got to be on the cusp of that technology and other information, knowing the business, knowing where they're going, and connecting those conversations and be conversational about how to make that happen.
Yeah. I think that's great, because I'm the business. I really, our IT group is phenomenal, but you know, for what I have to do, it has to be a partnership. We have to work together, because like I tell them, I'm not an IT group, but I have some of these, have people in my team that can build these things. That's not what we want to do. So we want to work with them. We want to help them understand what are some of the challenges so we can work together. And so it's more, like you said, the tickets. I have a ticket that I put in, let me see, it was put in 1997. I still don't have it. So, you know, and I get a call, do you still want this? Yes. You know, I don't need it anymore, but it's like, you know, it's things like that. It's like, if we would have had an opportunity to explain, if I had an opportunity to explain how this would help in understanding what's going on in the field, that would be better. But just putting a ticket with just, you know, it doesn't give you that, like you were saying, it doesn't give you that how it gets to the bottom line revenue profit. And I think if we have those conversations, it will help to maybe prioritize things a little bit differently, as well as help us to understand, you know, maybe we're demanding too much. So we have to work together. And like I'm running a project now, and this is going to be the first for IT. We're pulling them together and dragging them, kicking and screaming. But we got to learn together.
Well, let me first say this. Shout out to the data conversion team for all the ERPs. I'm sure that they took that ticket and converted from system to system that from 1997 to now that it's still there. So the IT group did good.
Yes, they did.
They did not lose your ticket.
They did, and I was proud of that.
Yes, that's where we need to start.
Yep. One of the things you mentioned I thought was a good mention is that, you know, as we become more senior leaders in our companies, we have to really partner with the new Gen Xers that are entering the workforce. And I have a story. I had a 3PL in, they were doing some development, and we were getting ready to get rid of them. So they wrote some bad code, and they deleted all this tax data. And tax already didn't trust us. Like, they are the least technical organization at our company. And so they deleted all this data, and I tried to tell the engineers, I was like, hey, you need to contact Microsoft, get the backup back. They just drug their feet, because it wasn't even my group. They were underneath me the year before, they were underneath a new leader at this point in time, and they just drug their feet, and 30 days went by, Microsoft no longer had their backup. So one Saturday, because I still have a high level of ownership, so one Saturday I was just thinking, I was like, well, there's probably some log files from when they deleted the data. So I went in, I found the log files. It was like 3,300 and some pages of logs. But it logged every data point that was deleted. So I know SQL, and I had a smart intern from Brown University, and he knew Python. I didn't know Python. So I was like, hey, I can teach you how to write the update statements in SQL if you can comb through these logs with Python. It took him 2 hours to get back 3,000 some pages of data. We wrote the update statements, ran it against the database, the data was back. But partnering with this new generation, we know some things that they don't know, and they know some things we don't know, but if we work together, we can all bring each other along the way.
Exactly,
And be
exactly.
Even if you
successful.
didn't know what Python was.
Correct.
Explaining the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And allowing them to use whatever technologies out there to solve the problem.
Yes. So that concludes our questioning for our panelists. We will take some questions from the audience, and Sherelle will bring the mic down. You have Dr. Scott.
You know everyone in the room.
I don't know. Do I know
Thank
everybody?
you.
Mostly.
So Shannon, I can barely see you, so I apologize up front, okay? But one of the things that as I was growing and developing as a leader, I was told was the importance of building global competency skills, including actually experiencing outside the U.S.
Yes.
In today's environment, globalization is almost becoming a bad word again. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on global experience and developing leadership by getting global experience. What should happen in spite of what the government says?
I don't think it's going to go away. I think that I don't know what's going to happen with tariffs and everything else, but the fact that there's someone in the globe, and I'm just taking it from a dollars and cents perspective, that can do the same job as somebody here in the US for less than half of it, puts you at risk doing that same job. And even with taxes or tariffs or anything else, like after those hurdles, it'll still probably be more cost effective for that to go other places. I think the global perspective is still going to be important. America is still a nation of immigrants, number one. And the people that I work beside every day are from all over the world. Even if I've not touched that part of the world, I've touched that person, and we have interacted, and I know more about India than I've never been to India, but when I'm talking to people, like, are you from the North? Are you from the South? Like, do you eat this? Do you eat that? That's just from us talking. I think it's still important, whether you experience it firsthand or you experience it secondhand. I think it's really about how do you connect with people? How do you connect with kind of thought patterns? I don't want to stereotype people, but you kind of want to understand where people are coming from and how that, how can you motivate that person to be the best that they can be, and how do you interact and get things done that you need to get done, navigating those different cultures. I will admit, my first international trip, I've been with a consulting firm for 20 years, was 2 weeks ago. It's the first time I left the country for work and for work purposes. And when I arrived there, the people that I met, I had already seen, I had already met, I knew their families, I knew what was gonna happen when we got there. Now, I didn't know what the building was gonna smell like. I didn't know what the food was gonna taste like. So now I've kind of colored in, I've shaded more of the picture in my mind, because now I have more senses that I can relate to with those people. But I don't know if that is as necessary to be, and let me take that back. It also depends on your industry and what you're in. If you're in a global industry, that's different than people, I might be a local utility, right? It may not necessarily, I don't need to go around the world to be a good leader as a local utility. I don't think it's as necessary now. I think the technologies and the digital shift that we've done has changed the game tremendously since the pandemic on how you grow as a global leader. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not the...
I have the I've been fortunate to travel, I guess, majority of my career back and forth to Asia at least every 3 months. And the thing that I learned there is I knew them all from the phone, but what I've learned is I've learned their culture, I learned their thinking. I can be more empathetic from that side. But also, you know, what are the thinking patterns? What are you, you know, how are you thinking about this problem? Because you know what, you can learn anywhere. And did I need to travel there for them to do the work? No, but I needed to travel there to understand them so that I can be a better leader for them and be empathetic. So from that perspective, the travel has been rewarding to me. I have another family in Taiwan. Her daughter comes up here and plays the piano. She stays with me for the summer. So, you know, we just connected. And so I think that empathetic part is very, you know that.
Any other questions?
Yes, Gary Woolfolk, Travelport from Atlanta. So, Shannon, you mentioned, you know, there's things you wish you knew early in your career. And on the topic of networking, you know, those of us that are more seasoned, we've been doing this a while. We kind of have a little bit of it figured out. But now we have a newer generation that has come in at a time where I'm staying here in Houston with my son, who actually is going on his 3rd year with Accenture. And of course, I like to pass my knowledge along. He's been with Accenture 3 years. He was forced, but he was happy to do it, to move to Houston, to be close to the office. And he has been into the office maybe 7 or 8 times since he's been here. How does someone like that network outside of their inner circle? How do they build that network? How do they find those mentors that are outside of that inner circle to be able to tap into? So that, to me, is a challenge that I've been unable to assist him with. So what are your thoughts on that, please?
I think that companies have a role to play in making that happen. We have to acknowledge what's happened over the last 5 years with the pandemic, and that there are people who have been hired in and have a totally different experience than the folks who were there before. So I'll put myself in the seasoned category in that case, and you can have your son reach out to me if we haven't already connected. Like one thing we're doing is, we call it Water Cooler Wednesdays. So we're having managing directors come to the office and meet our analysts, which is our first level. And they call it Water Cooler Wednesdays, but there's budget to go out to lunch and to just talk. It's not necessarily about, it could be about anything. So we've got to find those touch points. But what I would tell your son, just like I told others, there's nothing stopping you from coming into the office and doing your day-to-day work. I literally just staffed someone that I bumped into in the office. I told my team, I said, hey, I met this young lady. She's incredibly sharp. We're gonna need someone on our team, and she fits the right cost profile. Let's get her staff. Was it anything special about like her background? No. Was it anything special about the way she was speaking or dressed or anything? No. She was in the right place at the right time. And there was a collision in that office where we collided, we had a conversation. It really wasn't even about work, but I found out that she had a need and I had a need, and we brought those two together. And I find that often that I'm talking to people, the folks I see, again, I'm just going to get some coffee in the office, and I need somebody to tweak some PowerPoints, or I need somebody to do a few things that, you know, I could do it myself, but that's a pretty expensive way to get certain tasks done. We need that younger generation. We need those folks, and you need the experience of just sitting around, breathing in the room while people are talking about the deal and shaping all of these things. You're not gonna just get that from sitting at home, you know, looking on your computer. And so I would urge folks to find ways, you know, even if they let you work from home, come into the office. Even if it looks like nobody is there, if there's only one person there, you can meet that one person. That one person can unlock your next role. That one, like my best role, what really happened in my career is I went to they had a power and gas event at the Museum of Natural Science here, and I was just having a conversation with some random guy. 2 weeks later, I get staffed on a project. He said, you know what, I was looking at a list of names, and your name was the only name I recognized that I could put a face to, and I brought you onto this project, and my career took off from there. From just a chance encounter, sitting around at a little bar having a quick drink and conversation about probably football or something, nothing work related. But you can't have those collisions, picking up the phone on Teams and trying to like call people, will you be my mentor? And will you, you have to be there in person. I don't know any other way to do it. And if you're in a role and it's impossible for that to happen, I would try to find ways or networking groups to make that happen. I'm sorry I talked so long.
No, that's okay. I did want to say that, we encourage our new hires, to come into the office 3 days a week. And we'll ask the team to come in 3 days a week so that they can actually get to know the team. And then also, I've asked, people on my team to introduce them to people that so that they can start feeling included in conversation, understanding what's going on in HP. You can sit there and listen to the all-employee meetings, but if you don't know what they're talking about, that makes it very, very difficult. So it's very important to do that. If I walk through and I see, now I'm an introvert, and if I see a person that I don't know after being there for so long, I will walk up to them and introduce myself to them and find out how long they've been there, and hey, what are you doing? Who you're working for, and let me introduce you to someone here and here. And I think I'm no longer introvert anymore, but I don't want to be that person that is holding someone else back. And so, and the Gen Zers, they're kind of aggressive. Last year we had a very huge intern class, and they came to me and said, we want you to teach a workshop for us. And I'm like, oh, okay, about what? And it was like word of mouth, and it ended up being like 30 people there, and it's like they were asking questions, they were engaged, pull some other people in, and they're still, as they went back to university, they're still staying in contact with people. It's like, okay, and fortunately, I actually was able to hire one permanently. I didn't know that person before, but they came to the workshop, introduced themselves. They are a different breed of people, very sharp.
Any other questions?
Yes, we have time for one more question.
Okay, so I am Dr. Patty Perkins. I am one of the Emerge coaches. I've also been a coach for ITSMF for 2 decades. Wow. And so I want to speak to one of the question that you raised around your son, and I want to honor the panel because you've done just an excellent job in terms of all of the aspects of being a leader in IT and what it takes to move forward. One of the things that I will say that I recommend or I coach my clients to do is go on a listening tour, especially in that first 100 days of any new assignment, any new engagement, and really understand who are the people, what are the processes, what are the problems, and what are the projects that they're working on. And you can do that at any level. You can be new in your career, you can be seasoned in your career, but it's really an opportunity to work on your career and not just in your career. And I think we get caught up working in our career. And if you're not allocating at least 10 to 20% of your time on your career, then you're really missing an opportunity as well. And never leave a conversation without asking, who else should I talk to? Who would you recommend? And would you be willing to introduce me to that person? So your son could do some amazing things. So I really want to ask the panel, in your wealth of knowledge, and you, in the middle there, your name? Portia. So I had a chance to sort of meet Portia at the amazing membership informational / welcome that my girlfriend did right here. She did an amazing job. So I want to ask you, when it comes to bridging the gap between the generations, because you just mentioned the new one of the newest generations, what are some of the gems or ideas or strategies you would have to bridge all the generations together? Because I think that's one of the greatest opportunities that we have right now.
I think as a leader, we have the opportunity, and not even the opportunity, it should be to where we are bridging the gaps within their groups, outside of their groups, and so it's just a matter of making those connections and getting them those connections as well. And so instead of like, how do I say this? It's all about, you know, we can have I will sometimes have mini workshops, you know, like for our new female engineers that come in and our new male engineers. And I'll sit down and talk to them about, you know, hey, you're not at school anymore, you're now, you know, it's your big girl or big boy job. And so, and just help them to do the transition and explain to them how to meet people. And I'll invite other leaders in the room so that they can connect. And it's almost like a speed dating type of thing. And so they can get in and start talking to each other. And so we try and do that, like, you know, I would say every quarter, to get VPs in, directors in, to talk to them to where they feel comfortable. I think that is very, very important. And it's like, hey, why don't you come in? We're going to go to lunch and blah, blah, blah. It really does help. It helps them to connect. It helps them to understand that leaders are very interested in what they do and where they want to get to. And I know so many of the young people that are coming in to work, and I really like that because I'm always like, hey, do you know this person? I just enjoy connecting. And I have a lot of people that are seasoned that they enjoy doing that too. And it's, you know, it's like our C-suite, when they're in the building, they love doing that. Hey, we're going to have a workshop. Could you come in and talk about, you know, connections and leadership, and what advice would you give to a new employee?
Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank both Shannon and Portia for all of their great knowledge today. Can we give them a hand? Thank you. And I'd like to challenge the audience to, in this uncertain environment, there are some certainties. We know AI is on the horizon. We know the Gen Zers are headed into our workplaces, and we have some opportunities there. So I just challenge each of you to embrace the new and be hopeful and faithful about the future of uncertainty that we're going through at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you again to our amazing panelists this morning. At this time, I would like to welcome our Vice President of Member Services and External Affairs, Ms. Elaine Norman.
Thank you, Sherelle, and thank you, DK and panel. All right, this is Saturday morning. This is the segment where we celebrate our members. Those of you who've been with us on a Saturday morning, know what this is about. This is our cheerleading section. That means you're going to get out of your seats. We're going to celebrate our members. We're going to let this hotel know that ITSMF is in the house. And so if I come by your table, that means you're not cheering enough. You need more flair. So if I come by your table, I need to see more flair. Got it? Got it? All right. We're going to celebrate our members. ITSMF is about our members, and our members are ITSMF. If you joined ITSMF in the last year, I need you to stand up. In the last year, celebrate. Welcome, family. Welcome. These on the screen are just some of the members who've joined since January of 2025. Look at the names. Look at the faces. Get on LinkedIn and welcome your new ITSMF family members. Next, we're going to celebrate what we do. We call it the encore. The encore is, if you missed last night, this segment is for those ITSMF honorees from our Technology Leaders Awards if you're a member. So we're going to give an encore to those that were celebrated last night. We're going to celebrate them again this morning. First up, our members of the year, Sabrina Robinson and Joel Stevens. Stand up. I saw Joel. Joel. Okay, he stepped out. He stepped out. Okay. Celebrate. Next, Elena Robinson, our Carl Williams Award winner. I'm looking to see where I don't see Flair. I'm about to go to the back. I don't see Flair. All right now. Okay. Next, our fellows inductees, Gary Eppinger. Yes, celebrate him. Daphne Jones, I think she had to get on a flight. David Segura and Michelle Green. Celebrate. Next, our President's Award winners, Latasha Gary, Colette Fung. Celebrate. You know I'm going to put you on the spot. Yes. Celebrate. Next, our Technology Executives of the Year for Global and Enterprise Corporate, Cato James and Denise Russell Fleming. Celebrate. Celebrate. I see somebody on the phone. We're about to get some flair up in here. We're about to get some flair up in here. Next, our Technology Executives of the Year in the SMB, SME Large, and the Education category, Brandon Jones and Norman Fleming. Celebrate. Celebrate. I'm seeing some screen watchers. I'm seeing some folks looking at their phones. We about to celebrate. Flair. Flair. Next, our Entrepreneurs of the Year, Damani Short and Ron Meeting. Celebrate. Celebrate. All right. All right. Next, we're celebrating our Leaders on the Rise, Jasmine Grant and Ken Goodwin. Celebrate. Next, I'm going to put some of these bigger tables to shame because these two, they are carrying this table. Thank you. Thank you. We've had a lot of promotions and new roles. If you're an ITSMF member, we promote your brand because some of our members are not even celebrated in their own shops. So we want to congratulate folks like Tony Betts, Gerald Charles, Lou Jackson. Did I see Lou in the room? He was in the room? I thought so. Celebrate him when he comes back, okay? Timothy May is now CEO and founder of May I Solutions. Celebrate going from corporate to entrepreneur. Celebrate that. James Smalls, I think he was, okay. And then Greg Yarrington. Celebrate. Get on LinkedIn and congratulate your family members. And then board assignments. Listen, we had a power couple last night. Let me tell you about Rory Myatt and Lena Hickman Myatt. They are trailblazers. They do work in their organizations and they're entrepreneurs, and they do work in the community. Lena Hickman Myatt is now board of directors. She's the chair for the Student Conservation Association. She is also on the board of directors of the African American Community Alliance. She's an ITSMF board member. And then Rory is a board of directors on the African American Community Alliance, the AACA. Celebrate. They did a phenomenal job last night. Celebrate. And then our members, they are the top of the top. We have CIO Orby Award winners. We have CISO Award winners. We've got CISOs of the year. Some of my CISOs, I saw Octavia. Did she have to leave? Okay. Well, Octavia and our CISOs, folks like Devin Bryan, John Giff, Meredith Harper, Michael Palmer. These are names you see in the industry. They are CISO Orby Award winners. The Orby Awards are the highest award you can get as a technology leader. How do I know? Back in the day. Back in the day. Celebrate them. Next. Same thing next. Oh, Rona. Is Rona still here? Okay, she had to leave. Adrian Butler, Michael Cato. I want to speak about Adrian Butler. Many of us have not seen him in a while. He's in a unique position. Not only is he the CIO for his organization, but they invited him on the board of directors of his organization, his company, and he's a super global winner for the Dallas CIO Orbies. When you see him, congratulate your brother, all right? Next, oh, is Norm Fleming still here? All right. Who doesn't know Norm? Celebrate him. All right. Next. That might be it. Not advancing. There we go. Kirby. Kirby Burton. He didn't know this. President Emeritus of the Texas Coaches Coalition. He didn't know we're going to celebrate. Kirby, one of our original founders of ITSMF, the individual who started the Heartstone. When we check out, we're going to tell you about the Heartstone, all right? Next. All right. Membership. If you want a part of this, you need to be a member. You need to be a member of ITSMF. No one should be navigating alone, especially at this time. Before I found out about ITSMF, at that time I was the CIO for United Way of Metro Atlanta. I was so used to walking in circles by myself. I just thought that was normal. And I felt like I had to carry the weight of my people on my shoulders. I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, dress the wrong way. I didn't want to dangle a participle for God's sake. And then someone told me at a session about ITSMF. I said, Ida, who the what? There's some folks who can help me and help me in a way that doesn't have to be all public. If I make a mistake, they got my back. They're going to pull me to the side. I'll never forget Zach Lamel. When I first came to my very first ITSMF meeting, he saw a string hanging on my jacket. And he embraced me and said, hey, sister, how you doing? And he snatched that string off. Didn't make it a big thing. Do you know what that means? That's love. That's family love. Somebody helps you out so that you can look better, so you can represent, so that we can all represent. If you want to be a part of this, get that QR code. If you're not, and we'll talk to you about what membership is for ITSMF. Next. Thank you. Johanna mentioned that we have data and we need data. We want to get better. We want to serve the family more. There's such a treasure trove of brain trust here. You've been in the trenches. You know, internationally, teams, technology, data, AI, seasoned, unseasoned, whatever it is, we want to hear from you. We can't be the best unless we hear from you. I'm going to be honest. You know how surveys say it's only going to take you 2 minutes? This one's not. It's going to take you a little while because we need the data. We need the information. We need to hear from everyone. Please get that QR code. Now, we recognize your time is valuable. Now, we can't pay you the 6- and 7-figure salaries that you're making and that you deserve. But we can at least offer you, put you in a drawing to win, a ticket to what you experienced last night. If you want that ticket, a chance to win it, now if you pay for a ticket and we love that too. Thank you for the donation. But just a small token of our appreciation, if you fill out that survey all the way to the end, let us know who you are so that we can tap more into your brain trust and the think tank that's here. Well, you might win a 2026 Technology Leaders Award ticket. So we want to let you know how valuable your information and your feedback is to us. So can I count on you? Oh, no. Flair, can I count on you? Can I count on you? Thank you very much. I'm going to bring to the stage probably only one other person who can talk louder than me. Not you. I was going to bring Cedric up.
It's all right. Thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you, guys. We're going to move ahead. We have some important announcements and updates. If you've been with us for this week, you know that AI has been the highlight of the conversation. And so we're going to have a couple of announcements. So I am going to bring up Denise Smith and Alicia Little and Robert Scott. Robert said, don't worry about it. Y'all got it. Who run the world?
Girls. Hey, everyone. Good morning. Okay, so who in here is part of our AI strategy cohort right now? You're getting your certification. Stand up. Come on, Damon. I know, I see you, Elaine, I see you. I want you to clap these people up because they have been working hard with us, along with doing their work in the cohorts that they're in, to get this stuff done. And a lot of you have come up to us and said, hey, I'm gonna get through those modules. And don't worry, we're not gonna grade you too hard. We just need you to go through that capstone, and we want you to be, what? Ready to conquer the world and what's next in AI. So thank you for joining our cohort. And a lot of you have asked, when's the next cohort? So Alicia is here to talk about that.
Yeah, so the next cohort is coming up soon, and we have info sessions. So if you scan the QR code, it will just capture your information. So we'll send you an invitation to the next information session. And on this session, we will talk about what the cohort is all about, what the training is all about, and how you can become AI certified through our program. So sign up for that, and we invite you to come on to our next info session.
Nope, that's it.
All right, AI time, let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you. So now I would like to welcome, if you guys came to the gala last night, you know we had a nice glow party for you last night. So I'm going to invite our Vice President of Development to the stage to give us an update on what we did last night. Let's give Cedric a round of applause, you guys. You know he likes that energy. Y'all got to come and give Cedric some energy this morning because he's going to give it right back to you.
You're so right, Sherelle. You were so right. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, is it morning still? It's still morning to me. It was a late night last night, and it was awesome. So, for a show of hands, how many people were at the gala last night? All right, so y'all were part of the glow party last night. You remember what our two goals were? It was to raise at least $75,000 and for us to have 100% participation. Well, I wanted to let you know what some of the unofficial numbers were and how well that you all showed up and showed out last night toward that goal. So our goal was $75,000, and we actually unofficially right now, because they're still rolling in, we're at $91,000 because of your gifts last night. Thank you all so much. And it's a combination of so many different ways of people have given, everything from our management academy to multi-year gifts to a great generous gift from Mr. Tippins last night for $10,000 and many, many other ways. But you all found a way to dig deep and be able to assist us. And we know that each and every year, that number is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? Because it makes a huge difference. We know at ITSMF, we're the tip of the spear. And many times, if we're going to get things done, we have to go first. So thank you for arming us with the finances that we need to in order to continue to go first and pave the way for you all to continue to come to events like this. All right? So thank you all. And guess what? You can still keep giving. So if you want to send that QR code to someone, somebody that was maybe absent, like, girl, you need to, it was fun giving last night. You need to go ahead on and get in the party too. You know, I send you a picture of my glow stick. And one thing we do around here is we're going to ask because you want to give people the opportunity to give. If we didn't ask you, you'd say, well, why didn't you say something? Well, I'm saying something. It's always an opportunity. So I'll turn it back over to Sherelle.
Well, I want you to give one more announcement. We have something special coming up in September, isn't that right?
Oh, yes. We got two great things that's coming up. And so I don't know if you all know or not, we're going to be budding S2 Symposium up to our golf tournament. Now, so that looks like that'll be September 10th, 11th, and 12th, but I want to specifically talk to you about the 12th. 12th is our official charitable golf tournament. It's going to be at Chateau Elan. Now, listen, Sherelle and the team have gone out there and checked this place out, and they've seen a lot of different places, but they're like, this place is amazing. Now, we're talking about a full-blown winery, 8 different restaurants, a full-blown spa, and guess what? We still got golf. And on top of that, it's not just for golfers, so you can get a foursome, a celebrity foursome, an individual golfer ticket, or if you're a non-golfer, where's the non-golfers? All the yep, don't even try not to come. You can be there too. We got an early bird special for you right now for a non-golfer ticket, which will allow you to be on the property and have access, again, to the winery and to the spa, opportunity to shop. Also, you can learn golf if you don't know how to do it because there'll be a golf pro teaching you how to do that. You could be a part of our putting experience. It's going to be an amazing time, and as always, family is together, and the networking is going to be bananas because we're definitely going to have another crop of people there, people you all have never met before as well. And for all of our sponsors in the room, there are sponsorship opportunities, whole sponsors. You can sponsor the beverage carts and the whole 9 yards. We got a price tag on everything. So if you want to sponsor the flowers, we got them too. All right. Go ahead, Ibrahim. Absolutely. We would love that. So I don't know if you heard what he said. He wanted to know for our corporations here, was it an opportunity for your marketing department to gain access to be able to really put your brand all across the golf course and sponsor different things? And the answer is yes. So I know right now, for the most part, we are talking to departments that you have that focus on training, that focus on development and leadership, but we do know you all have marketing departments too that operate sort of on a different budget, a different level. There's certain things they're looking for to get their brand in front of a different way. So this is a great opportunity for us to do that. So it's a lot more open for brands. It's a lot more open for that particular department. And myself and Keith would love to talk to you. Keith, stand up real quick. So Keith is the director of development. If you have not met him, he's been running around here. We are the dynamic duo for sure. And Keith has got more energy than I do, believe it or not. See, it just proves my point. Connected to, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. No problem. So the question is, based off the brands that you all represent, how many of those brands are actually represented here today? So when you think about, like for instance, State Farm, they do a whole lot with what, the NBA, right? You do? So you get to raise your hand. You get to raise your hand. Other brands, Accenture and, yeah. Okay, you're gonna ask it now? Go ahead.
I'm breaking rank here. Can you please raise your hand? Oh, thank you. By the way, Pat Perkins has been my coach for part of 17 of those 20 years. Can you please raise your hand if you are connected to the department that does sponsorship within your company? It doesn't mean that they're your direct line of business, but that you know someone who happens to be in the department. We got one hand up. Okay. Can you keep your hand up, please? Can someone take a picture so that Cedric, no, seriously, listen, I'm an accountability person. Everyone knows I'm about the result. So I see we got Accenture, we got CSX, we got Abbott, Which brand are you with? Wendy's, State Farm, McKesson. You capturing all this? Do we need to start over?
I'm getting it.
You getting it?
Yeah.
Denise? AI Innovision, okay. Don't be shy. I'm not asking out of your budget. I'm asking out of, the marketing budget. I know Cisco does it. I don't know if Cisco's in here, but okay, very good. So in all seriousness, make sure that you connect with Cedric, because as we look for those banners, right, and we do it for our kids' sports, right? They're like, hey, can anybody buy into a banner, et cetera? We're going to do the same thing for the golf tournament. So your marketing departments have hella budget, right? So when he says, okay, no, this one is only 25. If you want this really big, massive, whatever, that's 75 or 100, whatever you said before. Let him work with those teams. It doesn't have to come out of the IT budget. This is coming out of sponsorships. Okay? And as family, are we going to help at least open the conversation? You're not guaranteeing anything. You're just saying, let me let you know about this big event that's going to happen with C-suite executives that we could potentially do business with in an organization that I'm committed to and I love. Can we commit to doing that? Yes?
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll take good care of them. We'll make you look good. Don't worry about it, okay? All right, with that, are there any questions before I take my seat? Going. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Cedric. So we're getting ready to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I know we've talked about our sponsors. We have thanked our sponsors from last night and on Friday. We have their signage around. And so I just want to take a moment to recognize some of the vendors. Those are the people that you see behind the stage making things happen. And so first and foremost, I want to make sure that we celebrate the Marriott Marquis Houston. Their team has been amazing. This hotel is beautiful. If you've been enjoying your stay here, let's go ahead and give them a hand clap. Also want to recognize our amazing AV company, TMP AV. We have a few gentlemen sitting over here in the back. We were in the other ballroom yesterday. You saw our big LED screens. Like, they are the people that really make sure that our show flows flawlessly behind the scenes. So thank you to TMPAV. Thank you to Conference Direct, who teams up with me to make sure the signage is placed so that everything works out smoothly. When you have questions, they're working to make sure your registration, your rooms, all of that. So thank you to Conference Direct. Also want to say thank you to Blue Jay Media. They're the team. You see them at every single symposium. They're taking our pictures. They're making sure they're on our website post-event. They're doing our red carpet. So thank you so much to Blue Jay. They truly capture the essence of ITSMF through video and through our pictures. So thank you so much, Blue Jay. And then our last two vendors were from last night. So if you guys, I saw half the room was at the gala last night, right? I think more than half, right? We had an amazing after party. We had DJ J Clip that did the gala and he did the after party. So he was on double duty moving from room to room. And these amazing florals that you see on this table is from the Plant Project. She is here in Houston, a young Black girl. So we were excited to partner with her, and she created these just for ITSMF. We gave her our brand colors, and she went to town with plants you see on the stage that you've seen out there. She provided just us. So thank you so much to the Plant Project. So as we end things up, I would like to invite Johanna Jones and Ibrahim Jackson to close us out for our wonderful S1-25 symposium.
So for people who are local to Houston, or you have family or friends who are local, please take a centerpiece. Please do not take these large plants, because we have to, don't take those. But the centerpieces, if there is someone in your life that you would like to gift this to who's local, or if you live locally, any of our speakers, please take these. We don't want them to just be discarded, because they're beautiful and we spend a lot of money on them, so please.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So, family, first and foremost, I want to thank you all, one, for sticking it out through today. And if you could all join me in just giving a huge round of applause to Johanna and her team for for the execution of a phenomenal symposium, for stellar leadership in an environment that is so challenging. The weight that Johanna carries on her shoulders every day, I will tell you, none of you want to endure, okay? And so we need to make sure that she's always getting our positive vibes, that she's always feeling love that comes from us. When she says that we're reaching out to you as an organization, when we follow up, make sure you follow through, okay? Because the organization, we're here for you. We're a membership organization. We're a community organization. Look, ITSMF, as I mentioned, is in my blood and my veins. Everything that I've done in my career professionally, ITSMF has been at the core. If it had anything to do with the Jackson 5, me, my wife, and the 3 kids, ITSMF has been a part of that. And even just individually well-being, ITSMF is a part of that. And I'm pretty sure many of you, this is the same thing. This is the last point, Johanna. I know that we continue to grow. And sometimes it gets difficult to say, well, how do I connect? Because I'm a part of this executive academy, or I'm a part of this Submerge, or I'm in this management academy, and I really don't know anyone outside of my cohort. I would like for everyone to take an opportunity to say, let me speak to someone that's not a part of my immediate cohort, or my immediate group, or my immediate groupthink, or my immediate company that I'm with. That's the best way for us to continue to evolve and network. I get it, not everyone's type A personality going out there and saying, who else can I meet new? But just take a moment and give yourself some metrics. I'm going to the symposium. The symposium's 3 days. I'm meeting 3 new people. Once you did that, check out. That's it. I've got 3 new people. But that's how you'll be connected to the fabric of what we do. And I think you all can attest that we're doing something really beautiful and magical here. Right? There's nothing like ITSMF. So with that, let me pass it back over to Johanna.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment to give some additional recognition to the founders of ITSMF. The founders who had the foresight to believe in the future of technology and to believe it was possible for there to be a you. You know, I don't take it for granted the fact that they tell me about the stories when there were just 14 of them in a room. And every time they walk into the symposium and the gala and they see hundreds of people, it surpassed what they imagined. And so we have been fortunate to have 4 founders active in this symposium, and they worked the whole time. And most of our founders are still active members. And so imagine being active in an organization for 30 years. How many people aren't active in an organization 5 years? 10 years. How many people have been active in an organization for 30 years? Active. And so every time you see our founders, I want you to thank them. Thank you, Kirby. Thank you, Kirby. And I don't know, Elena was getting it on the dance floor. She knew not only is she active, but she knew all the dances. So she knew all the dances. So we're so happy to have that. And I think the part of this event has been absolutely phenomenal. But what makes it so special, I think, is I know how hard many of you had to work to get here. You know, some people self-funded this. Some people advocated, made presentations, and did all types of things to get the partnership active. And we appreciate how much work our corporate sponsors, our members have committed to make 2020-25 absolutely successful. and our vendors. I have to give some additional praise to TMPAV. TMPAV. So imagine this organization that is relationship-based, our academies and all of that, what it took for us to pivot in 2019 and not have symposiums, have 100% virtual events. TMPAV helped us do that and emerge out of the symposium even stronger. Many nonprofit organizations